Hi everyone, welcome to Euroclimbing News. Today we're heading over to Bath in the west of England to check out LUMA. What makes LUMA unique is it is the first staffless climbing gym in the UK. This wouldn't have been possible without the tireless efforts of Matt, Lucy, the owners, and the teams at Clava and Lime Street Insurance. We had a chat with Lucy at LUMA to learn more. Lucy, thank you for having me at LUMA. Could you introduce yourself for us and tell us what you've got here?
So I'm Lucy, I'm the director of LUMA. My co-founder Matt also owns the business with me, and we've opened a small kind of training climbing gym in the centre of Bath.
Amazing. And what was the time frame for opening this place from, say, inception to now?
It's quite short, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. We started thinking about the idea probably June, July, 2024. And then we opened in the start of May, May the 5th, we opened. So I guess in terms of like the idea's always been there. I've always wanted to do something like this in some format. But then I guess it was probably around Christmas time. We'd gone to the ABC conference in, I think, October. Then Christmas came around and we actually had the possibility of taking over a lease. And then it was kind of, we signed the lease and it was just full steam ahead. So it was about 6 months, I'd say, from actually understanding that it was going to happen to actually making the product.
Do you know how many square feet the actual site is?
Oh,
roughly.
I want to say about 5 by 7.
Okay. Yeah.
So like 5 meters by 7 meters.
Okay.
But I can probably get that to you as well. Yeah.
That's what, 35-ish square meters?
Yeah. It's very small.
Yep.
With pencil as a training
yep.
facility. And it's obviously, we've only got a tension board, so it's fully adjustable, like 15 to 55 degrees.
Yep.
And then we've got a small training area where people can do handboarding, got micros, macros, bands, pinch blocks, weights.
Yep.
So it's very, we kind of like utilise the space, I guess, as much as we possibly can,
yep.
whilst also like abiding by like EM regulation.
You guys have gone for the tension board too. There seems to have been a resurgence in moon boards, especially with the 2024 set.
Yeah. And
a lot of gyms are going for kilter boards of various flavours. What made you go for the tension board too?
Kind of wanted something a bit different. I've been on all of them. And I think for me, I love outdoor climbing. A lot of outdoor climbing for me personally is crimpy, like ratty crimp. A lot of like technique needed, less kind of big powerful moves. With the kilter board, I just found that for me, it didn't emulate that outdoor climbing style as much. Moonboard probably does lean into more of that outdoor style, but I think the comfortability and also scope as well, the tension board's bigger, so we've got a 12 by 12 foot board. I like the fact that it was adjustable as well, and also wind holds and plastic holds at the same time. Kind of gave me that scope, which I guess the moonboard just didn't at the time. I think it's interesting as well. Like I think there's going to be an increase in tension boards in the UK now. I think when we were even kind of contemplating it at Christmas times, there wasn't, I think there was one in Kent or maybe one in London. And then since opening here, I think Boulder XC's just got one as well. And there's been talk of one coming to TCH as well. So I think they're going to increase in popularity as well. It's nice to have one here, I think. If you're only picking one, I think it's always a tension board.
Yeah. I've spoken with John at Clava. I've spoken with Laura Sweet at Lime Street Insurance.
Yeah.
And you seem to complete this nice little triangle that we've got. As LUMA is a staffless climbing gym,
yeah,
there was obviously some hurdles and some learning to go with all three of you working on this project.
Yeah.
How was that project for you, that process?
I mean, I think that business side was the hardest part by a mile. Not being able to follow a model that's already been like a normal commercial gym, that was the most difficult part. But having the knowledge and expertise of people like John and Philip Claver and Laura at Lima Street, having their kind of background knowledge really helped us kind of, I guess, make this model happen. Without them, this wouldn't have happened either. And kind of, I guess it took a long time to build out what that model looked like from a health and safety point of view, insurance point of view, both kind of a technical point of view from a software and hardware perspective, kind of competency of like who the customer is coming in to the building, how they are looked after, how they can look after the space as well. There's a massive trust level there. But that's probably what's taken a lot of research, a lot of times. There are models in Europe which have a similar model. And also you've got commercial gyms, so Field Gym, for example, normal sporting gyms are going down that unmanned system too. I think it's probably, as well, for something like a training gym, it's such a small space that overheads of staff it's just not possible. So that's kind of where really we kind of don't have that overhead, which means that we can be here.
With the staffless side of it, could you talk us through a basic check-in process? So someone books a slot, how does it go from them booking a slot to being here in the space?
Yeah, so they go through our website. Our website integrated with Carver, and people see kind of almost a calendar format. So each session, there's 6 people allowed in per session, and each session's an hour. We give them a 15-minute grace period beforehand and 15 minutes after, because people want to come in, warm up a little bit before they jump on the board, and we know what people are like. They want to keep sending until they get their project, so we've given them a little bit of time to pack up after. And you see the calendar, you literally go on to that slot, so it could be 6 a.m. in the morning, it could be 6 p.m. in the afternoon. You click on that slot and then you just book it. Once you book it, you get an email sent to your email address, and then you get a QR code within that email. That QR code only works 15 minutes beforehand, so that they can't kind of give that to anyone else. And then they can just scan it on the door. So we have a hardware system where you just scan a QR code and then the door opens. People then can come in, and then they have like a touch system to leave.
Yeah, I can imagine that was the biggest headache for setting this sort of concept up. How can you imagine this package, this concept of staffless micro gym, let's call it?
Yeah.
How do you imagine that rolling out in other spaces? Do you see this as something that could scale?
Yeah, I definitely think it could scale. I think we wanted to create this model so that it could be replicated. And obviously working with the likes of Plava and the development costs that it would take to kind of create a model like this is something that we hope then would scale. I'm not sure how it would scale with kind of very busy populated cities. But for places where they have a climbing community, but they don't have loads of gyms, they might want something else. And also something that we don't see this as a gym that people will use solely. So we don't see it as a competitor, for example. We see it as something that people might substitute their weekly climbing routine in. For us here in Bath, we don't have any climbing gym yet. So we are always, all climbers in Bath are constantly commuting, whether it's to Froome, boulder rooms, whether it's to Block, whether it's to other climbing centres. It's nice to kind of have something that we subsidise that with. We still go to these centres, and all of our members still do. But this kind of subsidises that kind of constant commute all the time. But yeah, hopefully it's something that we can now scale and even kind of work with other climbing centres for.
How can people learn more about LUMA? Where can they find you?
So the best place is obviously our website, lumaclimbing.co.uk. We're also very present in our WhatsApp community. So we're trying to build a community around climbing, whether you're in Bath, Bristol, anywhere really. You can join our WhatsApp group. You can find that information on our website or on our socials. LUMA Climbing Gym. Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.